Welcome to the class of 2025 Incoming Parent Information Night. This is designed to give parents, students, guardians the information that they need to help their incoming ninth grader transition to the high school and pick their classes for the upcoming school year. Before we get into the actual logistics of scheduling, I'm Erica Empey. I'm one of the counselors at the high school, and we do have a full administrative team that I'd like to just point out to you. Mrs. Gregory is our principal. We have 3 assistant principals, Mr. Reck, Mr. Urick, and Ms. Aluya. They work with students based on the last name of the alphabet, and our athletic director is Mr. Wheeler. In the counseling office, in addition to myself, we have 4 other counselors. So there are 5 of us that work with students based on last names. So we each have a section of the alphabet: Mrs. Hanson, Mrs. Osterhout, Mrs. Lusk, Mrs. Kenny, and myself. Mrs. Shinjek is our student assistance coordinator. She doesn't have a section of the alphabet. She works with the whole student body, and in particular at the high school, she organizes all of the groups that we run through the counseling office. In order to pick your classes for incoming ninth grade, it seems a little bit weird to start off our program by talking about college, but we do feel that it's really important at Heartland High that parents understand that when we talk about college with our students, we're not talking about just 2- and 4-year brick and mortar institutions. Our kids are looking into a lot wider variety of ways of getting their post-secondary training and credentialing. So college for us is any post-secondary program that leads to a certificate, a credential, a licensure, or a degree. And our students might be doing that through your community colleges and your traditional 4-year schools, but they may also be doing trade schools, technical schools, apprenticeships. Through the military, they can do credentialing. So anything that's going to lead to your student being able to have the training that they need to get a living wage through a good paying job, that's what we talk about with post-secondary education or training, even if we do shorten it down sometimes and say college. While at the high school, one of the things that our students are often struck by when they come from the middle school is how much more we have going on in our building. We're just a lot bigger, and as a result, we have a lot more extracurricular opportunities. One thing that we like to point out to parents is that there is a boatload of data that shows that students who are involved in their high school or in their community beyond just academics do better in school. So for students, it might seem counterintuitive. It might seem a little weird to say if you're in a sport and you have less free time because you have practice all the time, your grades are going to be better, but that's really what the data shows. Too much free time does not do a student any good. Getting involved in clubs, sports, volunteering in the community, church, youth group, any of those things really help students' performance in school as well as just their overall social emotional well-being. In addition to the extracurricular opportunities we have at the high school, we have a lot more curriculum opportunities. We have room for honors and advanced programming in every subject. We have AP classes, which through a national exam at the end of the course, students can potentially get college credits. We have the ability for our students to take college classes for high school and college credit. In addition, we also have a lot of support for our students at the high school between tutorial and enrichment classes, special education support, as well as just general tutoring. We have opportunities to support our students and help ensure that they are successful. Finally, the high school is really able to be a lot more career tech focused than students have had the opportunity to have in the past. Between some of our career tech courses, programs, and countywide programs, as well as some early college opportunities, we really have the ability to help kids do career exploration while they're in high school. In addition to this slide, we have videos on the Class of 2025 website. So where you found this video, we have breakout session videos on honors and advanced classes at the high school and skills for high school success. We do also have videos regarding career tech education. That's found under the main scheduling tab. It's not on the Class of 2025 page because some of those real career tech focused programs don't actually begin until students are in their junior or senior year. So getting into the actual nitty-gritty of today is scheduling. This Class of 2025 page where you found this video is your landing place for all things that you will need to locate for incoming ninth grade. There is a link to our curriculum guide. That is our course catalog, and it has a description of every single class at the high school. It's an extremely underutilized resource by particularly incoming freshmen. And new this year, we have added a whole bunch of course videos. We don't have a video for every single class that we offer, but we do have quite a few. So between the curriculum guide with every single class and the videos with teachers explaining their courses, there's a lot of information that you can find out about classes at the high school. In that curriculum guide, there's also a section in the beginning about graduation requirements. Those are on page 7. That's an important resource for families to know kind of what the end goal is. So that's important. And prerequisites are something new to students that they need to know before picking classes at the high school. A prerequisite is a class that a student must complete first. So an example would be you cannot take Spanish 2 unless you've taken Spanish 1. Courses that have a P code next to them on the blue course selection sheet and in the curriculum guide, that's a warning to let you know that that is a class that has a prerequisite, and you need to look that up and make sure you figure out what must be taken first. That prerequisite information can also really be helpful to our students who are good planners and are thinking ahead to where they want to get to as juniors and seniors and making sure they take the right prerequisites in the 9th and the 10th grade. Finally, you will see that there's a link to the students' portal. This is the same one that they use in the middle school. Registering for high school classes or scheduling high school classes is a 2-step process. It's completing the blue course selection sheet and turning that into the math teacher, as well as entering your first choice courses into your student portal. And both of those things must be done by February 18th. So that blue course selection sheet, I'm going to walk you through this sheet. If you circle things and fill along with me, by the time we were done, your child will have their course selections mostly finished. On the sheet that you should have at home, in the top section where it says name, it should be pre-printed with your student's name as well as their student portal password. Most of our kids are using their portals, their Student Connect pretty frequently, but if not, their portal is there, or their password rather is there. We then have the steps of the scheduling process here, including where you can find the curriculum guide. And so this is really important that you kind of make sure and use this as a checkoff to make sure you haven't missed anything. When you look at the course selection sheet, the top box right here is pre-circled, 3 credits. That's because 3 classes have already been entered into the computer system for your child. Biology A and B, the A is the fall and B is the spring. Global Studies A and B, and English 9 A and B are requirements. They've all been pre-entered. If your student is interested in doing Honors English 9, that class has an application. You can find the link to the Google Form application on the Class of 2025 scheduling page where you found this video. If your child submits an application for Honors English 9 and is accepted, the counselors will make the change on the back end to move them from English 9A and B to Honors English 9 once we get the word that they have been accepted. So every class at the high school, every year-long course is a full credit. So Biology A, for example, is a half a credit in the fall. Biology B is a half a credit in the spring. Together they make a full credit. This top section, this top larger box, represents the 7 credits that your child is picking for their first choice schedule. So by the time this larger top box is done, we will have picked 7 credits. Biology, Global, and English make 3. 3 credits have been pre-circled. Next comes your first choice, and that's that's math, which might be Algebra A and B, Geometry A and B, Honors Geometry, or Honors Algebra 2 Trig. Whatever your child is picking, this T over here means there's a teacher signature, and they get that from their math teacher. If your student is enrolled in a middle school that's not Oar Creek Middle School, so one of the private schools in the county, their current math teacher in their school can take a look at your course sheet and can sign off. And since our curriculum guide is on the internet, they can even look at the curriculum guide as well, but we accept the middle school teacher signature from the school that your child's enrolled in. So now we've got our 3 classes that were pre-selected. We've picked our math, so we're at 4 credits now of our 7. Come to the world language box. Many students have started a world language in middle school, and so they'll be taking the next one. On the back side of the course selection sheet, you can get the course number and write in the course name. We offer at the high school Spanish, German, French, and American Sign Language. And at levels 1, 2, and 3, we have honors and regular for those courses. So your student will write in which one they want. circle 1 credit, and get their world language teacher to sign off. So that's important. If they're picking between honors and regular, their world language teacher needs to sign off. If your child hasn't taken a world language yet, but would like to start one, generally, if a student is an all AB student in the middle school, we think it's a great idea for them to start with a world language in the high school. They would fill in this box and just have their English teacher sign off that they're in agreement that this is a student that can handle having English and a world language at the same time. So now we've picked our 3 that are pre-picked. We've picked our math. Let's say we've picked Spanish. Now we're at 5 credits of the 7 we have to pick. We get to gym. Gym is a half a credit. It's a requirement. All students should be circling gym unless they are going to be a 3 seasons of sports athlete. So not necessarily all 3 seasons in a year. It might be 3 different sports. It might be 1 sport a year for 3 years. Any combination, freshman, varsity, JV, is fine as long as your child competes for 3 seasons. That can waive gym. These must be Heartland High School affiliated sports. It can't be club or private sports, but if they are going to be a 3-season athlete and don't want gym, they do not have to select it. The next one down is health. Again, that is a half a credit and it is a required class from graduation. Health is one that sometimes we get kids asking about testing out and not having to take health. The test out application for incoming 9th graders is on the Class of 2025 scheduling page. It's also in the announcement section of the Oak Creek Middle School page. The deadline to sign up is this spring. The exam is at the end of the school year. And if your student is successful, then they would get a half a credit for the class they're testing out of. If your child is thinking about testing out of health, they do not have to pick health in the 9th grade. In fact, it makes a schedule problem for them if they're successful and they've picked it, and now we have to change things in August. So if they're thinking about testing out of health, they should not pick it. They should just sign up for the test out. If they're not successful, they'll just take health in 10th grade. If they're thinking about signing out of a class, that is a prerequisite for something else. So for example, maybe your student is saying, I would like to test out of Spanish 1 and go directly into Spanish 2. In that situation, they must sign up for Spanish 1. They have to sign up for the class that they're ready for, not the class they're hoping to get into. And that would be a change that we would make in August if they're successful. So if we go through our list again, we had 3 classes pre-picked. I've selected algebra for a 4th credit. I picked Spanish for a 5th credit. I'm going to take gym and health for a 6th credit. Out of my 7 credits, my first choice classes, I have 1 credit left. So I could pick 1 full year course and put a 1 over here, or 2 half credit classes and put 2 half credits over here. Either way, this top larger box should only equal 7 credits, not more, not less. And these are the classes that your child will enter into the student portal. This box down here where it says alternates, this also must be completed, all 6 lines, but these classes do not get put into the computer system. Some mistakes that we see frequently with incoming 9th graders is they don't give us enough options. And then if they have a schedule conflict and I try their first choice and I can't make it work, and I try their second choice and I can't make it work, and they didn't give me any more choices, the counselor is just going to pick the class. We're not going to call home. We will just put a class in, and it won't be a class that your child can change in August. All of the classes on this section, these 6 alternates, are fair game. What that means is if your child has a schedule conflict and I work through each one of these classes in order and it's the 6th choice elective that is the one that works in their schedule, they're not going to be able to come see us in August and say, well, Mrs. Empey, that isn't really the class I wanted. I know it's not the class that they wanted. It wasn't a first choice class, but if it's an alternate and it ends up in their child's schedule, they're going to be have to keep it. We obviously only go to alternates if we have to. We don't try to be mean and just go to alternates for no reason, but sometimes with kids with conflicts, that's the only way we can make a schedule work. And mistake that we do see freshmen make is sometimes they'll take their electives from here and just rewrite them down here. And if you have a schedule conflict, that's not solving anything for the counselor. We need some different classes. Once you've made all your course selections, the parent will sign, the student will sign, student cell phone number, and you'll enter in your student portal, again, just your 7 first choice credits, not these alternates. On the back side of the course selection sheet, we've tried to make life a little bit easier for freshmen. This list back here is all of the electives we have that are open to ninth graders. There are no course descriptions on the sheet. You will have to go to that curriculum guide on this high school's website. And then when I was saying that it's a really underutilized resource, what we find a lot is freshmen, all grades really, they'll go, oh, construction, and they don't ever go read the course description to see exactly what they're going to learn and cover. This backside gives the kids a quick cheat sheet of what's open to freshmen, but the descriptions are in that catalog. It's got some codes here. So for example, Art 2 has the code of a P. That's because Art 1 is a prerequisite. If a course has a notation that there's a fee, the fee information is in the curriculum guide. You can find that out. If a class has a T, that means it needs a teacher signature to sign off, and an A means an application. This bottom grid down here is just to help students with planning. Since we do have so many classes that have prerequisites, we find that students, if they don't plan ahead, they can be a junior or a senior and they've been hoping to get into a class. Maybe they were hoping to get into Auto 2, but they never took Auto 1 in 9th or 10th grade. Or they were hoping to get into AP Chemistry, but they never took honors chemistry, they took regular chemistry. So looking in the course catalog and planning out those prerequisites can be very beneficial to make sure kids get to where they really want to be as an upperclassman. So like the rest of the world at the high school, we definitely have deadlines. Your scheduling process is open from now through Thursday the 18th. It is, again, a two-step process. So that blue sheet goes back to your math teacher, and the students' first choice classes need to be entered in their student portal. Any students that need help with computer access should see Mrs. McLennan at the middle school during their lunch. If you have a student who has an IEP, please know that they will be meeting with their case coordinator to determine correct course levels and to help them with entering of schedules. The blue sheet goes back to the math teacher by the 18th, and that Honors English 9 application, which is the Google form on the Class of 2025 website, scheduling website, is also due on the 18th. And some information for parents. We don't want you to think that this is a one and done and the only time you'll be getting any help from the high school. On the freshman orientation day, which is their link orientation, there will be a parent orientation for an hour that morning with the counseling office. That's where we really talk about a lot of the things that trip kids up with the transition to high school, more in the social emotional realm. And so that's a great program for parents to come to. Back to school night is in September each year. Sometimes it's in August, usually it's in September. And that's the night where you get to walk your child's schedule. So you actually get to go to each of their classes in order. It's a night that you will want to come to on time or you will be tardy to first hour. But that's a great opportunity for you to hear from each of their teachers. We offer college planning information for every grade. 9th grade program for parents is in January. The 10th grade one is about to happen next month, yes, in March. The junior program is in October, and the senior program is at the beginning of the year in August. We also offer financial aid information and help with financial aid applications to senior parents. For freshmen, the biggest program and the biggest help for them is their link orientation. Their registration and orientation will be on August 9th this year. For freshmen, it is a half-day program, 7:45 till almost 1 in the morning. They're in groups of 8 to 9 ninth graders, and they're paired up with 2 upperclassmen who become their freshman orientation advisors and stay with them throughout freshman year. They will get a tour of the building. They'll get their schedules, their locker combination. Their link leaders will help them with all of that. If you have any last minute paperwork to turn in, you can do so there, although most of our registration process is pretty much fully online now. Students, be prepared. At Link, you will get your picture taken for your ID and the yearbook, so you don't want to have too much bedhead going on. And parents, our Parent Link program from the counseling office is an hour long. It goes from 8 to 9 on that same morning. The first day of school is tentatively scheduled this year for August 18th. That has to be finalized through the calendar committee, but that's the date we're looking at. All right, so that is the logistics on picking classes. Many of you will have other questions pertinent to your individual student. So on this same Class of 2025 scheduling page, there is some breakout session information. So information about honors classes, advanced classes, skills for success, the course description videos. We also have some athletics video information, some of our music programs. So these are all available to you. In addition, if your student has more questions or questions that the high school counselor can be of assistance, please do not hesitate to email or call us. We are happy to help.